Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk. All right, y'all see the title, man. Relationship incentives. And what I mean by relationship incentives is this. Why would I buy the horse? Why would I buy the cow if I'm getting the milk for free? Everybody know that old statement right there. But it's a very valid question, especially in the dating environment that we're starting to see now, because a lot of people are moving away from marriage. A lot of people are starting to experiment with polyamorous relationships and having open relationships, open marriages, and things of that nature is being highly promoted. And, people are following suit with this, but they're quick to find that oftentimes it's something that they're not really wanting. It's not what they thought it was going to be, and they didn't see all of the problems that come along with these alternative relationships, or non-conventional, I should say. That's the best word for it, non-conventional relationships. And so, what incentive do people have anymore to get married? Well, I say this is something that I've been debating with people for a minute now, is the fact that most people get into relationships, they start talking, they start dating and stuff. And once you find out that, hey, I like spending time with this person, I'm cool with this person, at that point, instead of pretty much interviewing them for the ring, they give all of the wifely privileges before marriage. And the same with guys. Guys do all of the husbandly things for females before marriage. And so there's no incentive to get married if you're doing all of the privileges that a person would get in marriage. If I'm just dating you, it's certain things that I'm not obligated to do for you. It's certain things that I would do out of the kindness of my heart, just because you cool and just because I'm feeling you. But I'm not obligated to do anything for anybody that I'm not in a fully committed relationship with. And when I say fully committed, that means that we're headed towards marriage. We're feeling each other out. We're seeing if that person has the qualities that I'm looking for in a wife, and also, am I willing to deal with the issues that she's dealing with in her life, and vice versa. People don't take the time to really do these things, or really take these things into consideration, because a lot of people get caught up in infatuation, and they mistake that for actual love, which is not. But there's a fine line between the two, and you have to be able to make the distinction between the two, because if not, you'll be stuck in a situation to where you with somebody who is merely infatuated with you, and just like new car smell, it wears off. Infatuation wears off, and when it's gone, you have nothing left to build a foundation. You have no foundation built in order for your relationship to stand on, I should say. So yeah, I'm definitely against doing certain things for a girlfriend. There's boundaries that I would have with a girlfriend. There's things that a girlfriend would not be able to just automatically expect me to do for them. Say, for instance, say, what would be a good situation? What would be a good scenario? Um, okay, and everybody alludes to finances a lot of the time, but this is just to prove my point. If I'm dating you and you have some outstanding debts that prevent you from moving forward in your life, I'm not going to pay those debts. Sorry, babe, I call you back. But I'm not going to pay off your debts, nor am I going to feel obligated to pay off your debts or help you with your debts, because I'm just your boyfriend. I'm trying to invest in my future, and if you're not trying to be my wife, then I'm not going to invest in something that can turn away from me at any time. Because being a girlfriend, you have no obligation there. You can walk away at anytime you feel like it. So if you have no obligation in being with me, then I have no obligation in investing in your life and trying to build you up. And that goes the other way because I know everybody is on this whole whataboutism kick, and they'll, instead of receiving the message, they'll just flip it around. Well, what about me? And so we don't do that over here. We stay on the topic and we stay focused on the subject matter. And so when I talk about incentives, I'm going to address the fellas first. Fellas, we go out here and we will find a female that we really feeling, that we really like on the surface level. So we will have a tendency to go overboard to try to prove our worth and our value to that woman. And we, if not careful, we will find ourselves in a position where we're doing husband things but not getting the benefits. And so I attribute that to being a simp. That is one of the main core values of a simp, is out here doing all of these husbandly things and giving a woman all of the benefits that a husband would give without any commitment, without any obligation, without any accountability. That's really what it comes down to. Man, why everybody want to get up and start making noise when I want to do my show? It was dead damn quiet around here. As soon as I come in here to do my show, everybody want to get up, start cutting grass and doing. Never mind, never mind. Let me stay on topic. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, fellas. Yeah, back to y'all. Man, we have to have a standard. We have to be able to set boundaries and not be afraid to tell our girl, look, I have these boundaries. I have a standard. And um, if you're not looking towards marriage with me, if you just with me just to pass the time or just to have fun, then there's certain things that you are not going to get from me on a boyfriend or just a friend with benefits level. And you have to keep that firm boundary with the female, because most females feel like they can seduce you with sex, and they'll be like, oh yeah, you say that now, but once I throw this thing on you, or once I come in there with that little dress on, or them skirt that you like, or those boy shorts that you like, that's gonna change that whole thing. And they'll challenge you on that. And so you have to stand firm. You have to have enough integrity to be like, I don't care how hard my dick is, you not getting none of this just by coming in here and flashing some ass to me. That's not enough. You are not a wife, so you are not receiving husband privileges from me. You're not receiving husband action or husband energy from me. You got to stand firm on that, dudes. And the same with you sisters. Whenever y'all dating brothers, y'all go above and beyond to prove to that dude that you are wife material. But at the same time, you're not withholding anything. You're giving him your all off the top, and he's benefiting. And it goes back to what I said in the beginning. Why buy the cow if you're getting the milk for free? That's what our OGs always tell us as young dudes. So, and that's just to encourage not being in a committed relationship. That is a cautionary tale also for us to not invest in something that may not be something permanent. And marriage isn't permanent, but it's a more of a commitment than just being boyfriend and girlfriend. So that's what I mean. I have to clarify everything, because people will try to pick holes through your logic if you say one wrong word or you misinterpret something. So You just have to be careful with that. But yeah, I'm saying that, man, because there's so many people out here who are so disgruntled when it comes down to relationships. There's so many scorned women out here. There's so many hurt men, or so-called hurt men, and everybody whining about what they've been through and who did what to them. First and foremost, a person can only do to you what you allow them to do to you. So whenever you out there pointing your finger at this person did this to me, all of the things that you name off your list of what they did to you, you allowed it. You allowed it. You stayed. You didn't believe the lie, but you appreciated at the amount of effort that he put into trying to deceive you that he was what you wanted. Yeah, that right there. That part right there. You know that he lying, but you appreciate the fact that he is willing to tell that lie and go through all of the effort to cover up what he truly did. And so you'll let it go. You will leave it alone because you would rather settle for somebody who's afraid enough to try to hide his dirt from you than the guy who will just come out and be honest with you and be like, yeah, I did that. You see that as a sign of disrespect. Oh, he's so disrespectful. He ain't even try to hide it or nothing. That's the mindset that people operate in. You would be more appreciative or you would be more accepting of somebody who goes through the trouble of trying to hide it instead of somebody who's just straight up and honest with you. But yet you'll turn around and you say, I want a man that's honest. I don't like liars. But yet you love to be lied to. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? That's my question. You don't like liars. You claim you hate liars, but you love to be lied to. And if we don't lie to you in the way that you like, then we're not a good dude. Where they do that at? What kind of mindset is that? Let me find an example of that. Babe, how did this look? Do I look good in this? If we tell you that you don't look good in that, then you got a problem with that. Because we're being honest. No, I don't like that. You don't look good in that. But you really like the outfit. You didn't really want me to give you my honest opinion. You just wanted a cosign so that you could go out feeling good about what you got on. But then we're the bad person if we tell you the truth. We got to stop these games. We got to quit playing these games. We got to quit talking out of both sides of our mouth. That's one of the biggest problems. You say one thing, but that is absolutely not in your repertoire. Dudes, yeah, we the same way, man. We we let people play on our sympathy cards. A lot of times, soon as a girl start crying, you get soft, you get mushy, you turn into a wimp. Basically, man, she started crying and all of that stuff, man. And I just believe her. Really, you believe them crocodile tears? That's one of the first lines of defense for a person who feels like their back is against the wall, is to start letting them tears roll. You see it all the time in court. You go to court, just go to, and I'm not talking about like child support court. No, you go to actual court, criminal court, where people looking at some years, and you will begin to see the manipulation where people will try to garner sympathy by letting those tears fall, and the whole time they are straight up murderer. But they think, especially on the female side of it, they think that those tears are going to garner some sympathy and convince people that you're a good person because you're able to show emotion. But I'm telling you now, anybody can show emotion whenever they have a greater fear. When your fear trumps something else, you're able to garner up some type of emotion. Even those ones who claim that they're not sympathetic to anything. Even a narcissist can mimic the emotions necessary to get what they need out of a situation. Good morning, Hurricanes, Kilos, Cheeky. What's happening to you? Blessings for coming in this morning. So we have to definitely be more serious, take more time and more intentional effort into choosing our mate. And also, we have to put more time and effort into choosing how much of me you're going to be able to get just as a boyfriend. Because my performance or my actions with you as a boyfriend and my actions with you as a husband are going to be totally different. Matter of fact, my actions with you as a fiance will be different than my actions with you as a boyfriend. But nobody really wants to attack this type of conversation because it's going to lead to some accountability. Everybody at that point is going to have to say, okay, well, I have done this. I have a pattern of doing this. And this is why I continue to end up with this type of person. We will often allude to a lot of different things, but when it comes down to it, we give a person way too much of ourselves in the very beginning. That's my personal opinion. I see it time and time again. I talk to people about their relationships because I'm a pretty decent person to talk to. I sit back and listen and, just give my best opinion possible, but it's coming from a pure place. And I guess that's why people will talk to me. But yeah, man, we have to be willing to have these hard conversations with the person that we're dating and not later on down the road, not 3 months down the road, in the very beginning. We have to establish this off tops because a lot of people, when you meet somebody, especially if you meet them organically and you're going out for the first time, you're putting forth your best representation of you. And when you put forth that representation of you, a lot of times that reputation or the best presentation or the presentation that we as guys put forward is made up of what that girl told us they like. We go on that first date or we having those conversations on the phone. So what type of dude you like? Be very wary of answering that question because guys will take the information that you give them and they will create that image for you just to lure you in so that they can get you emotionally invested in that situation with them, because they know once they get you emotionally invested, then everything else is pretty much downhill. That's it. I mean, that's what we as guys do a lot of the time. That's the way that we think a lot of the times. And so, it's very important that we step back and really, all right, I say it like this. When we start dating somebody, we put less importance on that beginning process than we do to go and pick out a car or to go and pick out a outfit from the mall. You go get an outfit from the mall, you're not gonna just look at it and say, oh yeah, that's dope, I'm gonna buy this, and then walk out of the store. What do? Most of the times you're gonna go in, you're gonna see something that you like, you're going to hold it up to your waist if it's some pants in the mirror to see if it look good on you, to see if that color is popping on you. And then you're going to do what? You're going to go to the dressing room and you're going to try it on to see if it's something that's really comfortable and something that is going to not only look good, but it's going to fit you for who you are, your size, your everything. And then you make the decision to purchase that. We go through all of that just with buying garments, but we won't do that in no relationship. That's crazy. I don't understand the logic of it. And, you know, Well, I could say that I've done it time and time again. You know, back in my younger days, I was I didn't know none of this stuff. Believe me, I didn't know none of this. It's like I said, my uncles, my brothers, and all of the men that were around me, their whole idea of manhood was based on how many females you could get. And they would always teach you the right things to say to a girl and how to pull a girl, but they would never teach you anything as far as maintaining a relationship and how to keep that woman interested. And you said you're very cautious when answering questions. That's good, sis. And blessings. Good to see you this morning. It's very important that we do that. And you know, if you're doing this, and the person be like, "Why are you asking all these questions?" You be wary of that. That's a red flag. Anybody who don't want to answer those questions is trying to cover up something, or they're trying to manipulate oftentimes. And they know that questions is something that's going to reveal their true intent, because you know, after a certain amount of questions, it's hard to keep your lies straight. Say you learn as you go. Yeah, you absolutely do. We learn as we go. But one thing that especially my brothers, because this is a question that is often given to us as to, you know, why we have problems with commitment. Well, it's because we have females out here who are willing to give us everything we need without a commitment. It's because they've been hurt. It's because they've been rejected. It's because they've been through all of these things in their lives, and the low self-esteem and the fear of rejection will cause some females to go out here and just want to please a guy. And so if you're in a relationship with a guy and you're trying to hold those standards, there's some girls out there who'll be like, "I'll do it for you." Oh, she won't do that for you. I'll do it, and you don't have to give me no commitment. There's no commitment necessary for me to do that for you, baby. But I guarantee you it won't be something that's going to be beneficial to you in the long run. They'll do the surface level things for you. Yeah, they'll have sex with you. They might even cook for you. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to really holding you down, I guarantee you she won't be willing to give that. A certain level of things that people are willing to give, but we as guys, we are so fixated on our gratification in the moment that we'd be like, "All right, go ahead, yeah, hook me up. I just need a fix for right now." And we'll put everything that we built with somebody in jeopardy over a quick fix, or some quick gratification. You know, and it's I don't know the logic behind it. I can't explain why we do these things. I can't, because it's there. It's available to us. That's the rawest way that I can say it from my standpoint and what I've been through and the things that I've done in this area. Because I used to be the biggest dog in the world. I mean, that ain't no brag. That's just a fact. I used to be the biggest dog in the world. I didn't have value for women as somebody who could actually be a friend to me or a helpmate to me. I never seen women in that light. I always saw women as sexual objects. That ties into something that I went through in my childhood, and working through sexual assault, especially from a male perspective, it brings about a whole lot of things that people don't even really think about. And one of the things that it brings about is if you were sexually assaulted as a male child and you are straight and you continue to live your life as a straight male, your manhood is constantly going to be in question because of what you experienced. And with a lot of guys like myself who grew up in a family of males who always painted the narrative that being a man is having a lot of women on your job, then you're going to go out and you're going to sleep with as many women as you can to validate your manhood to yourself and to others. I'm just telling you what I did based on what I went through. And so You just imagine how many young men are out here who are too macho and too afraid to admit that they were molested as a child, but yet you're seeing all of the manifestation of that happening to them as a child, and it's coming forth in their actions, in their relationships with the opposite sex. You don't treat women like somebody that's a friend, somebody that you love, somebody that you cherish, somebody that's valuable to you. You don't see them in that light. All you see them is a tool to validate your manhood. And so you got a lot of hurt men out here who are trying to validate their manhood through sleeping with a lot of women. And there are a lot of women that will oblige that because they're hurt. They've been rejected all of their life. They have low self-esteem. And when a guy comes and shows some interest, they're looking for an opportunity to get some acceptance. And so on both ends, you have two hurt people who are looking for some acceptance and validation. That brother looking to be validated as a man. So if that girl come along and she do all of those things to stroke his ego and make him feel like a man, then he's going to oblige and he's going to use that woman for that anytime he feels like he needs a boost in his manhood. Just like there's females out here who will have these dudes that they put in the friend zone so that they can have somebody to keep their esteem built up while they're out here looking for the dude that they really want to be with a lot of times. But that guy that's being kept in the friend zone and, you allow him to do certain stuff for you and he's always complimenting you and telling you how great you are. Come on, man. Let's be honest. This is what we do. We feed off of other people's energy. We need those affirmations, and whoever's going to give them to us, we will receive them. But if we're not feeling that person like that, then we'll keep it at a plutonic level. When really that person has all of the things, or are willing to become all of the things that you want and desire. It's a crazy cycle that we go through in relationships out here, and we spend so much time focusing on who's going to make me happy, who's going to make me happy, that we don't even realize that it's not nobody's job to make us happy. Nobody can make you happy. If you're not happy with yourself, if you're not happy within yourself, there's nobody that can come in your life and just make you happy and take away all of your concerns and take away all of your insecurities and just make you happy. That is a lie that people tell because they are living in a false sense of reality, and that's just another fairy tale to make them feel good about their bad situation that they're in. There's nobody out here that can make you happy. If you're not happy within yourself, I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. If you are not happy within yourself, nobody else can come along and make you happy. If you have no peace within yourself, nobody can come and be your peace, especially if they don't have peace in their life. I was talking with some brothers, man, and I had a brother to say that he wants his woman to be his peace. Well, how can that woman be your peace if she don't have peace? What if she has issues with her family that have not been taken care of and it's been just put in the back of the mind and just been neglected like we often do with our problems that we don't want to deal with? What if she has father issues because her father was never there and she never had a male figure in her life, so she don't know what manhood really looks like, and so she don't know how to treat you because she's never been in that environment to see a healthy relationship between male and female? How can she be your peace? When me and my wife got together, she was coming from where she was coming from out of her relationship that was before us. I was coming out of the relationship that I had before us. We both still had some insecurities and we both still had some baggage. We had to acknowledge that first and help to build each other up help to alleviate as much of those insecurities as we possibly could through our actions towards each other and the consistency that we did those things. But yet still there's always going to be some level of insecurity. There's always going to be a what if. There's always going to be that in the back of the mind of a person who has been hurt numerous times. And so, we try to alleviate as much of that as possible so that we could be for each other what the other needs. My wife needs strength. If my wife needs security and she needs stability, then she's going to be supportive of me in my endeavors to do the things to put us in that position. She's not going to be nagging me all the time and telling me how sorry I am and how I need to do this and do that. She's going to help to build me up because now she has an invested interest in me. If she is expecting me to be all of these things for her, then she's going to stand by my side and she's going to support me in the things that I'm doing to try to become that. And vice versa. If she's to be my peace, then I'm going to be supporting her and helping her to get whatever she needs to have peace of mind, to have peace in her heart, to feel that stability and that security so that when I come through the door, she can be my peace because she's at peace. Yeah, there's always going to be baggage to deal with, sis. There's always baggage to deal with, but we have to deal with it, and that's the thing. So a lot of times, this is what I've experienced in my life, is the fact that, all right, I'll meet somebody, they'll put forth their best representative, and that'll last for 3 to 6 months of them just putting forth that facade, putting forth their best representation of themselves. And after a while, you're going to catch them in situations where you're going to see the veil come down and you're going to see the real them in certain instances. And at that point, you're already invested in the relationship, probably already got a baby on the way or something. And this is for the younger people. Older people, we tend to hold off on stuff a little bit, but mostly for the young people who are going into relationships, because the relationship starts based on sex most of the time and physical attraction. And so by the time you get 6 months to a year in, you already got a child on the way or here. And now you're emotionally invested in that person. So you can't just turn back at that point. So now you're starting to see the real them and you're starting to see the real issues that they've been hiding from you that they deal with on a regular basis. And now you have to address those within your relationship because if you don't, then it's only going to get worse and you're going to become a part of her unsuccessful dating cycle. And so a guy who's willing to attack these issues and work through these issues with the woman, take heed to that guy. Take heed to that guy. They're few and far between, I know, but take heed to that guy who's really interested in helping you to heal. That's the guy that really is interested in you. He really wants to see you win. He sees that your growth and your mental and emotional health are going to benefit both of you in your relationship. You said, oh, that's a great question. How do you get men to be upfront? Take all of the things off the table that men are afraid to lose by saying the truth, which most of the times, let's be honest, that's the coochie. Take the coochie off the table, you'll get an honest answer from a dude. Period, point blank. And yeah, a lot of times we gunning for that shot because anytime I've been a friend to a female, it was in the hopes that one day I would be able to break it down and finally get in there. But after a while, whenever you take sex off of the table and any type of gratification that we would be seeking in the beginning, then you're gonna start to get honest conversations with us as dudes. You know, really, that's the best I can come up with, because most of our motivation to tell you all the things that you want to hear is to get your guard down so we can smash. So taking that off the table is probably about the best way you're gonna get an honest answer from a guy. Yeah, we're visual creatures, absolutely. And so oftentimes that second head is gonna be dictated by those visuals out of the first head. Um yeah, as you grow older, you know, like I'm at the age now to where visuals don't impress me no more. If I was to be out in the dating world right now, like the tactics that a lot of females use as far as getting a guy's interest, most of that stuff would turn me off, because I'm like, you trying too hard. It really, that really is a turn off to me. If you're not naturally confident in yourself and you feel like you have to expose parts of your body and what you consider to be your most appealing assets in order to get my attention, and just you being yourself and your conversation can get my attention, more than likely I ain't gonna really mess with you too deep, because all of those things are surface level, and a surface level person is that's like peeling back the layers of an onion. So, you know, those insecurities and stuff like that, older men are gonna pick up on that stuff. Younger guys, they still caught up on looks and all of that flash and stuff like that. So I can't really speak for the young dudes. I knew me as a young dude, I was smashing anything that would allow me to smash, because when uh my boy said it the other day, shout out to Reverend Tony, like, because if you're a virgin and the first time you have sex is good sex, oh man, you gonna go crazy. You gonna go wild out there. But if your first experience with sex is mediocre or awkward, then it's not gonna be as impactful for you, and then you're not gonna be out there go getting it as much as like guys who got turned out on that first time. And you said conversation is key. Absolutely. But the conversation has to be proper, or the right conversation, because I've had conversations with females and I made it seem like I have to go back a little bit, because I have to make a disclaimer. Whenever I said that I was a dog back in the day, I mean to the fullest extent. If they're from the level of the lowest possible number to the highest extreme, I would have been the highest extreme, because, like I said, me sleeping with women wasn't about it. It was kind of about my ego, but at the same time, like I said, if you've been sexually assaulted by a male as a child, growing up having that in the back of your mind, it feels like your manhood has been taken away from you. And so your motivation to sleep with females is going to be to validate your manhood. So it was kind of about my ego, but at the same time, it wasn't about my ego, because I felt like my manhood was taken from me, and I was a child. So I was I couldn't fight back in the situation. This person was bigger than me, stronger than me, way older than me, and nothing I could do. I felt helpless. And so every time that I was able to get a female to accept me and to sleep with me, that was me validating, yeah, you are a man. You don't like boys. That's exactly what was going through my head every time. And that was the type of validation that I was looking for. That was the type of acceptance that I was looking for. It didn't matter who the girl was at all. I could have cared less what her name was. But as long as she was willing to sleep with me and validate that I'm a man that is attractive and women like me, that's all that I needed. And that lasted for 28 years. 28 years of that mentality, and now I have to change that mentality and actually find out what it means to be a real man in a real relationship, a healthy relationship. Now you multiply me by, let's just take a small number, a million. There's a million guys out here who have been through what I've been through, who have the same mindset that I do, and they're out here seeking that acceptance from any female who's willing to give it to them. That's why you got some guys out here who will smash anything. And nobody wants to ask any questions other than, wise men dogs. But if you continue to peel back the layers on that onion, why does he feel the need to sleep with so many women? Why does he have to have this validation from women? If you start to ask those questions, you'll find some answers that'll really shock you, and it'll really change your heart towards a lot of these people, because hurt people all the time. That's what we do. We hurt people, and we don't mean it necessarily a lot of times, but it's that whole fight or flight mentality. It's survival of the fittest. And it sucks, but that's just how it is for some people. And so I'm just trying to figure this stuff out, because I have a lot of children. I have daughters. I have 5 daughters. I have 3 sons. And so my kids are at the age now to where they're starting to build their own families, and they're seeking those stable relationships. So they're coming at me with these questions. And so I'm on my P's and Q's all the time. And all I can really tell them is what I've been through, the mistakes that I've made, and what I've learned from those mistakes. But I can't really be like I'm a relationship guru or something like that. Nah, no, I can just tell you, son, get to know that woman for who she is. Let her know who the real you is. Don't be afraid to let them see your good and bad side. Whenever you meet somebody, let them know all of the bad things about you whenever you putting all of your good qualities out there as well, to see if that's something that they're willing to accept and work with. Because if you don't, you're not giving them uh, all of the information to make an informed decision of whether they want to be with you or not. If you spend the first 6 months hiding who you truly are, hiding that bad attitude, hiding your anger issues, that is not fair, because that person has already fallen for you without knowing the true you. That's unfair to anybody, male, female alike. Let that person know everything about you up front in the very beginning, so that they can make an informed decision. Yeah, those hard things that you don't want to tell nobody. And I'm not saying just come out in the beginning and tell people all of your business. No, that's not it. But if it's somebody that you really feel that you have a connection with, and you really think that it's something that y'all could build something off of, then you got to put everything out there. Don't wait 6 months down the road and tell me that you got a crazy baby daddy who just getting out of prison and he gonna come and kill everybody because he was abusive to you. Don't tell me that 6 months down the road when I've already invested my emotions into you. Tell me that off the top, so I can be like, man, fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Give me that opportunity to make that decision. Don't make me have to make that decision whenever that situation arises. That's not fair to anybody. Guys, we do the same thing. We know we got these crazy baby mamas out here who still in love with us, or who don't want to see us with nobody else, or just plain vindictive. And we know that they'll pop up at any given time for any situation, because we were still leading them on before we met you. We were still leading that girl on. We were still having sex with her and all of those things like that, making her think that there still be a chance, just so we can be able to call her up at 2 o'clock in the morning and get that. You know what I'm talking about. So we got to be straight up and forward with the girl that we talk. Look, man, my baby mama, if we're out and about and something happened, this is the situation. Put that out there first. Give a person an opportunity to say, I don't want to deal with that, as opposed to you out with the girl and then all of a sudden this crazy chick just popping up in the parking lot, or just casually bump into you in the store, and then you got a whole situation, and this female standing here with the deer in the headlights look, because she don't know what's going on, because this is something that you neglected to mention. We're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of holding back those things until they bubble up to the surface and we can no longer hide it. And now a person is forced to make that decision in the moment. And who's good at making split moment decisions, especially when it's something that can change the future of my life? So, just being straightforward with people, giving them the opportunity to really get to see the full us, taking off that mask, that facade that we like to show all the time. We got to get rid of that. Definitely got to get rid of that. Man, I really want to figure out how to. Let me see. I want to start getting people in on the panel, because there are. Uh, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to drop the link in the box and all of that stuff so I can get people to come on and talk. Because I want to start opening up the panel, because I definitely love to hear people come on and just chop it up about this situation, these situations, and these scenarios that I'll be bringing up. Um, there's yes, there's a lot going. Okay, all right. Yeah, but the level of communication that we have in relationships is a trip to me. That's something that really blows my mind a lot of times. The lack of communication that we have, I should say, that is my biggest issue, is the lack of communication and the unreal expectations that we have without any boundaries. Set boundaries, very strong and firm boundaries with anybody that you are planning to deal with. Even if it's a side chick or a side dude, boundaries on everything. And I'm not promoting infidelity, don't, but I know that infidelity takes place. I'm not naive. And so I'm just saying, no matter what your relationship dynamic is, there has to be firm boundaries in order for that to be considered anywhere near healthy or beneficial for you at all. A lot of our hurt and pain is because we didn't have any boundaries and we didn't set any boundaries. So let's get back to setting boundaries with people. That's I guess that would be my end message. If I was to wrap everything up and come to a conclusion, it would be, have boundaries with people. Make sure that people know that when you're dealing with me, there's levels to this. I'm not just going to come in and I'm going to just be doing husband things for you off tops. I'm not going to just come in and be doing wife things for you off tops. Those are things you're going to have to earn. Those are things that you're going to have to show that you are worthy of me spending my time and effort doing for you. And once we do that, man, I think we will have a lot stronger relationships, longer relationships, and less confusion out here in the dating world. So Cynthia, it's a blessing always to see you. Hurricane Kilo Chicky, thank you for coming through. Blessings to see you. I'm gonna get this thing right. I'm gonna learn how to. I'm very computer illiterate. I'm I'm I was gonna say the Floyd Mayweather of computers, but that'll be disrespectful. I ain't even gonna disrespect my brother like that because he ain't do nothing to me. But yeah, I'm working it out. I'm gonna get this thing down. I'm gonna be dropping the link so y'all can come in freely. We can have open panels and we can discuss this stuff because I sit on here all day and talk about this. I ain't got nothing better to do. I'm a retired veteran and I got all the downtime in the world to talk and chop it up. So I'm gonna get it right. Thank y'all for coming in. Have a blessed weekend all together. And y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.